We have always been fascinated by the best of the best in every possible field, and we have plenty of examples. In sports, obviously, but also in esports. And we feel more engaged with these debates when it comes to a discipline we practice ourselves. Because we know how difficult it is to achieve this or that move, to put off this or that clutch. So when we see extraordinary actions, we appreciate them even more. But we only know this through our own level, which is often far from the best. And that's where the pros come in. People like you and me, who play the same game as you and me, and yet their level of play has nothing in common with ours. And in a way, fortunately, because they spent hours getting stronger and stronger. But even in this category of professional players, of people above the common man, there are always individuals who surpass their peers, who sweep all before them for years and years, marking their generation and the history of the field, giving the impression that they were born for it. Fans have always had their favorites and debate endlessly about the best player of all time, with varying degrees of objectivity. Today, we're going to take a look at the Counter-Strike G.O.A.T debate and try to answer the question, who is the G.O.A.T of Counter-Strike? For this study, I will rely on facts and statistics. So even if the stats won't allow us to answer with any certainty, they can give us an idea of the factual state of things. I've got everything ready for you, so make yourself comfortable and enjoy the video. First, let me introduce you the two main characters of this video. ZywOo discovered Counter-Strike at the age of 7, watching his brother and cousins play. Although his mother didn't allow him to play right away, she eventually agreed, going so far as to accompany him to local tournaments when he wasn't even 10. At the age of 16, he began to receive offers to play full-time. His mother, wishing to guarantee him a professional future outside video games, turned them down, preferring to see him finish his studies. He had to wait until 2018 and his 18th birthday before kicking professional ices. And oh boy, he did.
On their T side as well. They're anticipating banana from the looks of it. Got more over here. It's going to be ZywOo that rings out first.
No way.
Second.
He's had enough.
He's going to keep going through it. He doesn't really care, does
There's
he?
4 here again. He wants them all. Get him out of here.
He's the closer.
s1mple discovered Counter-Strike thanks to his older brother. In 2014, then considered one of his country's top prospects, he officially joined Hellraisers. His performances, far superior to those of his teammates, enabled him to make a name for himself. A somewhat difficult period, collectively, so he moved on to Flipside Tactics and Team Liquid before joining Na'Vi in 2017. True beginning of his legend on the game. So the question is, what can we compare? And to answer that, first, we have to define what the hell is a GOAT. First, the individual statistics. We want our player to be the best against the best, obviously. And then we have the collective success. The aim of Counter-Strike is to win competitions. So having great stats by betting and taking kills with no impact is of no interest in game. We want a player with maximum impact in the game to help his team win. For individual statistics, let's start with the rating. It's the stat that everyone looks at without really knowing why or how it works. But let me explain it to you. Rating is a magic mathematical formula that gives a number. The higher the number, the better the player's performance is. Over the years, there have been 3 versions of the rating system. 1.0 from 2010 to 2017, 2.0 from 2017 to 2024, and the current one, the 2.1 version. What makes them different? The elements taken into account in the formula. For example, version 1.0 of the rating system only took into account kills, death, and multi-kills. The version 2.0 added round damage, opening kills, and clutch to the formula. The aim is to have a score that measures all aspects of a player's game and to have an average score of 1.0. In the chart you're looking at, there are the top 15 ratings against HLTV top 20 teams from 2015 to 2024. That's a total of 135 of the best performances ever made by CS players. The higher you go up, the higher the rating, and the further to the right of the graph, the greater the number of rounds played in the season. Which means, if you're at the top right, you've had a consistent high-performance season. Whereas players on the bottom left have played relatively few rounds against top 20 teams. These include the seasons of many of the game's legends: Kenny S, Coldzera, Olofmeister, Rain, Nico, to name a few. And you can see that these great players have close ratings around 1.1 and 1.2. Just a great season. With ratings above 120, these are truly extraordinary seasons from some of the game's biggest names. We can see Nico, we can see Device, we can see Shiro, Monesi. And if we go further up, we finally arrive at our two protagonists, s1mple and ZywOo, with the best seasons in the modern history of the game. Just a little higher. Here are the 4 best individual seasons, purely based on rating in the history of Counter-Strike. A whopping 1.34 rating. Excuse us, even if you could argue that the 2.0 rating allows higher scores than the 1.0 rating, which seems to be true. In 7 years, there have only been 4 individual seasons to have achieved such a score. 4. That's it. Just 4. And s1mple has 2 of them. Call it domination. So, from a rating point of view only, you can say that s1mple holds the record for best individual performance against top 20 teams. But ZywOo is not far away, and if we look at the trends in their career, there's every reason to believe that he could at least match s1mple's performance. But we are speculating here, so let's get back to the facts. To take individual statistics a step further, we can look at different aspects of the game. The stats you're looking at are the stats obtained by each player over time, ever, against top 20 teams. Here are the different aspects of a Counter-Strike gameplay. Some are kind of intuitive, like opening, sniping, others a little less so, like firepower or entering. Let me introduce you to these points. Firepower is based on kills, damage, and multi-kills. On fragging, basically. Entering is how likely a player is to be the one sacrificed for his teammates. Opening is how likely a player is to make the difference with an early round opening frag. Sniping is just like playing with snipers like AWP or Scout. Trading, it's how effectively you can trade your teammates. Clutching is the late round players in 1vx situations that they have to close most of the time. Utility is basically how efficient you are with your grenades. All pros must master these different aspects of the game and be the best in each category, depending on their role, of course. As 2 players, ZywOo and s1mple have the same roles. Star player, we could even say superstar players, and AWPer. As such, they are expected to be decisive in important moments. Plays are built around their ability to be extremely efficient. A star player is expected to unblock situations, so he must be able to be aggressive and give his team the numerical advantage, whether at the start of the round with an opening kill or during the round with a multi-kill. But he must also be able to win most clutch situations. Let's return to our graph. I have also put in Torch's stats to get an idea of the stats of an average AWPer. We can see that Torch is only ahead of the 2 aliens in the sniping category, which is quite an achievement in itself. ZywOo is ahead in 5 out of 7 categories: entering, opening, trading, clutching, and utility, where s1mple is ahead in firepower. First of all, do our two players fulfill the role of superstar? Obviously, yes, because the points to watch here are firepower, opening, and clutching. They are very close in these categories and kind of far ahead of Torchi, except for clutching. So, what does this graph shows us? It shows us that ZywOo is a more complete player than s1mple, because ZywOo plays more or better as a team than s1mple. The two real-rating stats are entrying, which means how likely a player is to be the one sacrificed for his teammates, and trading. And if you think about it, maybe you don't particularly get the impression that ZywOo is a good team player, but the image of s1mple is certainly that of a one-man army, so strong and talented that he can carry any teammate. So yes, but not only that, how many clips show s1mple annoyed by his mate mistakes? How many clips show him flaming them? One may ask, who's a better player to play with? But that would still be speculation. Given that both our players are star players, it's interesting to compare the stats in the firepower. On Counter-Strike, there are two sides, the cities who defend and the Ts who attack. Depending on the side, the dynamics of the game are naturally different. The Ts have to be more proactive in the play than the cities, which leads to greater risk-taking. Let's start with the city side. For comparison, I've included the stats of a player with an average rating of 1.05, but known for his firepower, Elige. And we can see that Elige holds it on in this category. Once again, it's very difficult to decide between our two players. Both have a strong impact on both sides. We can see the difference in ratings in the pistol rounds. These rounds are crucial to get the ball rolling on the side. In City, they are practically the same, but in T, ZywOo has a far greater impact with a 1.48 rating. Which is not surprising, given some of the Frenchman's clip. Does that ring a bell?
Looking for the cleanest finish. He's been turned on. ZywOo, no health really, but he's still hitting shots. He's already got 3 and 4 and 5 and oh my god, ZywOo!
Yeah, ZywOo is arguably one of the greatest pistols players in Counter-Strike history. From a purely individual point of view, ZywOo and s1mple are two players out of their leagues. I mean, their statistics are extremely close, and this includes thousands and thousands of rounds. They both have phenomenal firepower and in-game impact. However, ZywOo proves to be a more complete player, thanks to team play. To defend s1mple's stats in this respect, some of them were compiled before the Astralis era, which totally revolutionized team play. Let's take a look now at the track records of our two players. I've listed the major MVP, or most valuable player, the MVPs, the most valuable players, the EVPs, which are the exceptionally valuable players, basically given to the ones after the MVP, and the top 20 HLTV. So they both have one major MVP and also one major win. If we take a look at the MVP rankings, we find ZywOo, who recently surpassed s1mple, and Device. Device is the third on the list with 19 MVPs, and the fourth one has only 10. s1mple has more EVP trophies than ZywOo, but both have kind of the same top HLTV rankings. So once again, the two legends have very similar records. And to all that, we can add their wins in S-tier tournaments. 15 for ZywOo and 17 for s1mple. A small advantage for s1mple in this respect, especially as he is one of the few to have succeeded in the Intel Grand Slam in 2021. But currently, Vitality is having a great season, and maybe that ZywOo will also have his Intel Grand Slam. To sum up, both are anomalies of the game, with statistics and achievements far beyond the wildest dreams of other pro players. Both are generational talents who marked the history of Counter-Strike. Both have mythical clips we've all seen at least once. Both have brought intense emotions to millions of people. Both are legends of the game forever. So yes, we've just shown that ZywOo is a more complete player than s1mple overall, and we also shown that s1mple has yet more trophies and more wins, but for how long? And finally, is that really enough to answer the question, who is this year's GOAT? You'll let me know.